Latest information about Lucas Paquetá at Flamengo. We're bringing you important information regarding the offer, regarding West Ham, looking for options. We're bringing everything to you here. We're doing it here. A complete coverage with our reporter Gabriel Orfo and the team at Ninho do Urubu, bringing you all the behind-the-scenes details. Also from the presentation of goalkeeper Andrew, we'll pick the best moments here from his presentation at the end to talk with you. But we come in just like that. Hey guys, red black greetings. This is Flamengo. Welcome to the Paparazzo Rubro-Negro channel. If you're new here, follow, like, and share on all platforms. On YouTube, subscribe, turn on notifications, and like the video. We're here thanks to Mais Cabello. You can lose weight in a healthy way with Mais Cabello, the Mais Slim program, and you can prevent hair loss. Man, you can look for it. There's always a Mais Cabello near you anywhere in Brazil. There's always a Mais Cabello clinic close to your city or in your city. We're here to remind you that with Arudo's Caravan, you can attend Flamengo's main games worldwide. In America, at Maracanã, tickets and everything included. Just contact us. You won't regret it. We're a reputable agency. Arudo's Caravan has been doing this work for a long time. Man, years and years and years, Libertadores, Recopa, everything for you, okay? So get in touch. You won't regret it. That's it. In the pinned comment, I'll also leave it pinned in the chat during the premiere. Well, let's go. We have some important information to share with you. Rodrigo Paiva talked to journalists at Nindorubu and said that it's still not decided whether they'll go with the main team, an alternative team, or a mixed one. Okay, so nothing is decided yet. Raiza Simplicio even brought some important information earlier, right? Which I'm going to share with you here. Look, Felipe and Jose Boto are considering the possibility of using players from the main squad in the match against Vasco. Okay? That's because if Flamengo loses to Vasco or Fluminense, they can't even finish among the top 4 in this group stage of the classic Campeonato Carioca. And then Flamengo would be out of the competition, right? Out of the championship. Okay, so look, President Bappi, according to Raiza, Simplicio made it clear that the planning for the next matches of the championship is the responsibility of the football department, choosing not to interfere in the decisions, okay? Given that, Felipe Luis and Jose Boto are considering the possibility of using some players from the main squad in the derby against Vasco this Wednesday at Maracanã. We also have players like Andrew, right? Andrew, who was just introduced now. Well, Andrew, just so you know, he says it's Andrew, okay? His name is Andrew, yeah, so Andrew. Vito and Emerson Royal may be included, according to Raiza Simplicio, to strengthen the team given the current situation in the standings. And I also want to mention here that Bruno Lemos said that since he started training earlier, Pedro could also be included. Here's my opinion. I wouldn't include Pedro because he came back from an injury, had the problem. You know he had the problem. Came back actually. He had the problem with his arm, came back and then had that injury. I would give Pedro some preseason time. And Royal too, who was playing, right? Pushing themselves even. So we want to see these guys playing the whole year. I would avoid Rascaeta, avoid Jorginho Pulgar, Leo Ortiz, Leo Pereira, who played a lot last year. I would avoid Pedro. Okay, I would give an opportunity to the players who didn't play much last year and who are doing well, right? Physically, do the physiology there, take a look and all that. That's it, okay? So who do I think should be used? It's Andre, who just arrived, and now Vitão, okay? Inter finished earlier because they didn't play in the Copa do Brasil or Club World Cup. And then you have Everton Araujo, who didn't play much last season, right? And when he did play, he did well. You have Allen, who was always injured. He didn't play much either. He can be negotiated while playing, just like Michael, but Michael didn't show up. Last year, Alexandre was mainly the starter. Put Ayrton Lucas into play. These guys, the substitutes, should be on the field. Those ones, right? Evaluate them. If they're able to play for a while, I don't know. Put Owen, for example, to play against Vasco, and also Bruno Henrique. You'll likely have Pedro starting this year. Plata, who missed the Libertadores final, and others with fewer matches late in the year. Check them out, right? Or see who will be the backup. Luis Araujo, for example, is a great player but was coming off the bench. You use these matches now so you don't miss out either. to see Flamengo, not to embarrass themselves because it's Flamengo's jersey. Like I said, it's Flamengo's jersey, and Flamengo being left out is just not acceptable, right, guys? For God's sake, okay? So even Flamengo themselves at Andrew's introductory press conference confirmed that they still have to make that decision, whether they're really going with the under-20 team or with an alternative lineup or with a mixed team using some professional players. Look, yeah, we also had, right, the news, right, that ended up making a big impact this morning, right, this Monday, which was about Plata, that they released that he was saying goodbye and being negotiated with West Ham to help in the deal for Lucas Paquetá. Let's go. Rafael Cota mentioned it, right? Plata's party is at the condo where he lives, and Plata was supposedly saying goodbye. Then there were posts from friends making it clear that, like, it wasn't, that nothing was, it was just that moment right there, right? A farewell, just a temporary goodbye and all that. Posts that made it seem like he was leaving. Okay, and then what? We had mentioned that news from El Telegrafo, right, from Ecuador, that West Ham wanted to sign Plata. We posted on our social media about 3 days ago that there was nothing for Plata, that nothing had come in for Plata. We kept saying that nothing had come in for Plata, and then we saw that news. Today, really early, I did some new checking and said, guys, nothing has come in for Plata. Nothing has come in for Plata. That's a different situation. I didn't understand the reason for the farewell. Maybe it's another team, some other negotiation, nobody knew. Then Isabel Costa, who worked with us here, right? Isabel Costa. She brought the information that actually Plata said goodbye to the house he was living in. He's moving to another place within the same condominium, so that's why he had that farewell, right? Yesterday, right, late at night, with the people he invited and all, it was a farewell for moving within the same condominium. It wasn't anything about him leaving Flamengo, and she brought the information that Flamengo had no interest in negotiating Plata. Our information, and I trust our information, is that if a good offer comes in, Flamengo will listen, Flamengo will consider it. Unlike, for example, Leo Ortiz, Leo Pereira, Caeta Carrascal, Flamengo will only let them go for the release clause. Some players are non-negotiable. Flamengo will only sell them for their release clause. Some players are important to Flamengo, and the club doesn't want to sell them. However, if a strong offer comes in, especially considering off-field factors, Flamengo would consider it. But he's not being showcased. He's not for sale. You can understand the information. The player is not for sale. And now at Nino Donubu, with our reporter, there with Gabriel Orte, the management confirmed that Plata is not for sale, that nothing has come in for the player. Flamengo considers him an important player. They don't want to negotiate important players, but they didn't say that, okay, that's our information. He is not non-negotiable. If a good offer comes in, Plata will be sold, unlike many others there, whom Flamengo considers non-negotiable, okay? And it's worth saying that Felipe Luis still, it has to go through Felipe Luis because Felipe Luis really likes Plata, okay? So he's also an important player. Let's not downplay him because of the off-field stuff. No, let's not downplay him. He's an important player. But if an offer comes in, Flamengo will evaluate it, okay? And nothing has come in. At least so far, nothing has come in. There are clubs making inquiries, but nothing has come in, all right? So that's the situation with Plata. It really wasn't Plata. West Ham wasn't a farewell. He went there to assist with Lucas Paquetá's negotiation. And we reported early that Flamengo was already preparing the official offer, now for Lucas Paquetá. No one at the club confirms it, but we believe it's 35 million euros plus 5 in bonuses, totaling 40 million euros. What I know is that Flamengo can't, right? BAP doesn't allow them to go over 40 million euros to sign Lucas Paquetá, okay? The other important situation we need to talk about is that West Ham is already looking to sign him. A Venezuelan player, okay? It's Kyber Lamadrid, 22 years old, and West Ham is already in advanced negotiations to sign this Venezuelan midfielder to immediately replace Lucas Paquetá. And then Mauro Cesar Pereira. There are other journalists who, this morning as well, as soon as we released it, it's more information saying that the offer would be today, and other journalists brought this information as well, right? Which ends up confirming everything we've been saying, okay? So what about us? I don't have information if this official offer has already happened, but Flamengo was going to formalize this official offer today. Okay, so Ben Jacobs is also a journalist. He said Flamengo will step up talks this week to sign Paquetá, who has already agreed to the contract terms. All that's left is for West Ham to give the green light to the red-black proposal that is being sent. Okay? Should I bring this to you too? Look, Bruno Arleu de Araujo will referee Flamengo versus Vasco this Wednesday. Okay? So Ferdi has decided on the refereeing team. Bruno Arleu is the referee. And the video assistant referee will be handled by Rodrigo Carvalhais de Miranda, whom we know well. He usually does the video assistant referee. He's always refereeing in the Carioca Championship too, right? So we're bringing you the main information, and now we're also separating it. Here for you, everything is already explained. Regarding Plata, Lucas Paquetá is from West Ham, and the player is getting closer and closer to being signed by Flamengo. Things are happening, but now we're bringing you some important moments, like the presentation, right, of Andrew as well. Look, I picked out some interesting answers here. I like them. Speaking of which, look, I just got this here. It's about joining Flamengo, about his characteristics. There were people who said he wasn't good. It's with his feet, and we said that was one of the reasons Felipe hired him. It's actually the opposite. He's really good with his feet. Yeah, you mentioned Botafogo's offer, right? And what do you think his mom and dad would be thinking seeing him at Flamengo? It's also about the physical side, the chance to face Vasco. Andrew talking about how he's feeling to face Vasco, right? He was playing there in the Portuguese Championship, and he talked about Felipe Luis and Boto, having watched his game too. Yeah. There's a question from our reporter, also interesting for us to bring here. So with you now, the presentation of the goalkeeper Andre here on the Paparazzo Rubro-Negro channel.
That's for us. Good afternoon. It's a very smooth story because today I arrive at Flamengo very happy and with a great desire to work because I'm representing both my dream and my family's dream. Yesterday, I was in Pilar from Curitiba X, where I was born and raised. I received full support from the people who have been with me since I was born, since I started my first steps in football. And that shows that I'm here today representing Flamengo. First of all, I represent my dream, and I also represent my own dream, kids who live in the neighborhood where I was born. So I'm very happy and honored by that. And there's a story in my family. My brother is also a goalkeeper. He was the one who encouraged me to become a goalkeeper. It's like this, every kid in soccer, you try out other positions and everything. And then one day he talked to me and said, "Oh, I think it would be cool. You have a good height, and I believe you could become a great goalkeeper." And I started in soccer, right? So at the little school where I was born, and over time, I developed a real passion and love for the position, and I'm really happy about that. Since you mentioned my mother too, my mother is someone who encouraged me a lot because when I started playing soccer, my father was no longer around and had already passed away. My mother always encouraged and supported me, never letting me give up, even during tough times like everyone faces in life. And she was always there, supporting us, never letting, as they say, the ball drop, always giving total support and every condition so that I could work and do an excellent job in terms of my characteristics. I can only show you when I'm on the field because I just got here recently and I'm adapting to the style of play that's being implemented by Felipe Luis together with the club. I hope to contribute as best I can. As you mentioned, Rossi is great with his feet. And since I arrived, we've been talking a lot so that we can find the best way to help Flamengo. Regarding the first question, that was something that was discussed with my agent since I arrived at Rio Vicente and my name started being speculated. Even in other clubs back then, I told him to bring me only concrete things. All I know is Flamengo offered an excellent project which I accepted and that's why I'm here. And regarding the second question about my family, I always ask, I talk a lot with my wife, who is now my closest family and main support. I have two children, I have a wife, and we talk about this like how would my mother or my father be here today? As I said yesterday, I was there in the neighborhood where I was born and raised, and everyone said the same thing. You represent a lot today, but one of the most important things is how would your father and mother's look be? They're die-hard Flamengo fans, as they say. Many Sundays, my father had a bar at 4 in the afternoon, He would always put on the Flamengo game, and we had a lot of people there, family members, people from the neighborhood, to cheer for Flamengo. So I saw his love there. Because of that, when Flamengo came up with the project they did, I was very happy about it. I still think about it today because it hasn't fully sunk in. I only realized I was here today because I feel like I'm missing the communication and contact I had with my mom and dad, like being able to turn to them and say something. I did it. I managed to fulfill my family's dream. I managed to fulfill my dream. And today I can also make dreams come true of those who pick me up in my neighborhood. The adaptation here inside the club has been really good because all the players, the staff, and the coaching team are 100% willing to help me. They made themselves available to help me adapt as quickly as possible and to be part of this great group that Flamengo has. And regarding the physical aspect, as you mentioned, my last game was on the 2nd, and I came here with the intention of helping Flamengo, and I will always be willing to help Flamengo in any situation. Good afternoon. It took time to believe the situation since I spent 4.5 years at Gil Vicente, played many games, experienced a lot, heard things about myself, and built up many expectations. But God gave me the best, and today that's definitely Flamengo. And I didn't really believe it because you just can't imagine that Flamengo, with its size, would send its director and coach to go analyze a player who's on a lower ranked team in the Portuguese league. Nothing against Gil Vicente. A very big history, but given the league, it's a team that's always had good seasons and is getting more and more established. We always expect a lot from Flamengo due to its history, strength, and greatness. We'll go after players that people have heard about many times, players with renowned names in football, we can say. And I'm very happy to know that Flamengo was there, yes, to be able to sign me. This shows that Flamengo is always keeping an eye on all players, regardless of whether they have a big name or not. They are always watching and believing in players that few people end up talking about. And when I actually found out about it, it was on Tuesday. Everything happened during the Monday and Friday games and over the weekend. I had 2 days off. I completely disconnected from that because I didn't want it to interfere with my work. When it comes to Flamengo, there's always a lot going on, so I totally disconnected from it. I went back to work Monday, and people discussed it a lot, and on Tuesday, my agents confirmed the yes was definite. I still didn't believe it. I still didn't believe it, but not because I doubted my agent's credibility. It's just that you can't really imagine it. We need to stay grounded and recognize Flamengo is a huge club. We must be humble and state it plainly. No, really, I'll only believe it when it's actually happening, and I can tell you that I only believed it then. Even when I started training, I started looking at all of that, and I said, yes, the dream I'm living today is something real. Thank you for the requests. My first contact with the players gave me an immediate impression. They're the ones you see on television representing their countries, with many playing for the Brazilian national team. It's a dream to get there, but that first contact always gives you a reality check. Today I'm with the best. Today I play with the best. Today, yes, I can also consider myself one of the best, so I believe that's a big part of it. And there are photos in the hallway, and someone here told me, but only when you play. I said, don't worry, I'll do everything I can to help Flamengo. I hope to put a photo here celebrating a title so I'm remembered as part of Flamengo's winning history. I want to join and pass the torch to help Flamengo keep winning.
Andel here in the first row. Good afternoon, Gabriel Orfon, Paparazzo Rubro-Negro channel. Welcome to Flamengo, Andel. You're stepping in to fill the gap left by Mateus Cunha, who joined Cruzeiro with Felipe Luis last season. Mateus only played 5 games, 2 in the Copa do Brasil and 3 in the Carioca, still with the alternative squad. I wanted to ask you what qualities you see in your own characteristics that might help you earn more playing time at Flamengo. Since Matthias didn't get the spot last year, even though he's a great goalkeeper, how do you see yourself competing for the position with Rossi?
Thank you for bringing up this issue about Matthias Cunha. It's something within my reach, something that was discussed here last year. What I can say is that I'm here, willing to help Flamengo in any way I can, because in the end, what matters most is Flamengo winning, Flamengo achieving success. So whether player A or B is going to play, I don't know what I'll decide. These are decisions made by the coach, and I emphasize once again that in the end, the most important thing is for Flamengo to win. If you're part of the squad, whether you're in or out, you have to be 100% willing to help in the best way you can. And that's what I'm here to do, to help in the best way possible. That Flamengo can keep winning, that's what will matter in the end.
Is
Important. It was very important to take this step because it shows the level of ability I have as an athlete. This puts me on the highest level of soccer, which is playing here at Flamengo. So whether I get to play or not, that's something that's out of my hands. But like I said, I have to be 100% willing and ready to help Flamengo. And that's what I've been doing since I arrived.